Let's bring you some breaking news now. And the former South African President Jacob Zuma has been found guilty of contempt of court and has been sentenced to 15 months in jail. The country's top court issued the ruling on Tuesday. That's after he failed to appear before an inquiry investigating corruption during his time in office. The Commission has been hearing allegations the wealthy Gupta family used its friendship with Zuma to win government contracts and influence policy.
In the final analysis, the Constitutional Court makes the following order. 1. The application for direct access is granted. 2. The Helen Suzman Foundation is admitted as amicus curiae. 3. It is declared that Mr. Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma is guilty of the crime of contempt of court for failure to comply with the order made by this court in Secretary of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, corruption and fraud in the public sector, including organs of state, versus Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma. Mr. Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma is sentenced to undergo 15 months imprisonment. 5. Mr. Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma is ordered to submit himself to the South African Police at Nkandla Police Station or Johannesburg Central Police Station within 5 calendar days from the date of this order for the station commander or other officer in charge of that police station to ensure that he is immediately delivered to a correctional center to commence serving the sentence imposed in paragraph 4. 6. In the event that Mr. Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma does not submit himself to the South African Police Service as required by paragraph 5, the Minister of Police and the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service must, within 3 calendar days of the expiry of the period stipulated in paragraph 5, take all steps that are necessary and permissible in law to ensure that Mr. Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma is delivered to a correctional center in order to commence serving the sentence imposed in paragraph 4. Mr. Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma is ordered to pay the cost of the Secretary of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, corruption and fraud in the public sector, including organs of state, including the cost of 2 counsel on an attorney and client scale. Mr. Zuma is no ordinary litigant. He is the former President of the Republic of South Africa who continues to wield significant political influence and in whom lies a great deal of power to incite others to similarly defy court orders. His actions and any consequences or lack thereof are being closely observed by the public. So if his conduct is met with impunity, he will do significant damage to the rule of law. The unique political position that Mr. Zuma enjoys as the former president constitute a further exceptional feature of this matter that justifies a punitive sanction. I hand down the judgment.
The judgment came about an hour ago and made it very clear that the former president has 5 days to respond to the decision made by the court, and then the instruction is going to the National Commissioner and the Minister of Police to act. That will be 3 days or within 3 days after 5 days have not. So you raise the issue that he will defy. I don't have evidence on that for now, but we are instructed by court, and the court, when instruct the law agencies, will have to act. But that matter is not on the table at the present moment. We have 5 days going forward.
Mawuphendula.
Absolutely, yes, that is the case. We've got Mr. Edward Zuma here. Mr. Edward Zuma, can we please have your reaction as the family? The Constitutional Court says your father must be jailed for 15 months. What is your comment? What is your reaction?
It's simple. We still sit down with President Zuma and hear what the way forward therefore becomes. So until such time, I think it will be appropriate that we be afforded that particular space, considering the fact that this thing only occurred today, and we commute from various areas. So until we consult with President Zuma, we shall have no comment then.
I'm sure most of you by now would have heard the news that the Constitutional Court has just found President Jacob Zuma guilty of contempt of court and sentenced him to 15 months in prison. Now, this is one of the most important Concord judgments in the history of our democracy, because it confirms that no one can stand above the law in South Africa, not even a former president who still enjoys strong support within the ruling party. Mr. Zuma, who has steadfastly dodged his day in court for well over a decade, while claiming all the while that his day in court is all he wanted, has finally started to run out of runway. Now, this is a major day for the DA and for the country. For 12 years, we've pursued a case against Jacob Zuma relentlessly. And we did so often with very little public and media support. But we did it because we knew it was the right thing to do. Long before Zuma was public enemy number one, we rang the alarm that he was destroying the institutions of democracy and subverting the constitutional order to enrich his friends and his family. For years, he was protected and cosseted by the ANC. For years, they defended him, knowing full well what he was doing to South Africa. We may have many other challenges as a country right now, but this judgment has struck a crucial blow for equality before the law, without which no democracy can prosper. We call on Mr. Zuma to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies and to hand himself over to begin to serve the sentence. We also look forward to the day that he will appear in court to answer the case of 273 charges of fraud, corruption and racketeering that the DA has been pursuing for over a decade.
That's the end there of that initial reaction or media briefing by the ANC's national spokesperson, Pule Mabe, basically saying the ANC has noted the Constitutional Court ruling. Of course, it's the first that the party is faced with. They are going to study the judgment, and this weekend, the National Executive Committee of the ANC, when it meets, it will then discuss this. And in the interim, we don't know what's really going to happen, because according to the ruling, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, the former president, has to hand himself over to the police to start his 15-month sentence on Sunday, which is in 5 days from now, or failing which 3 days later, the police minister and the national police commissioner have to make sure that he does so. We'll have to wait to see exactly how the ANC is going to manage this situation. It is historic, it's unprecedented.